Welcome everyone to this month's new moon reading. This new moon is on the 25th of October. The new moon is a time to dream. It's a time to look at what you want. Ideas and inspirations will come more easily now. Get clear on which ones you would like to manifest. It's a time for thinking and planning. Make a list of your dreams, your goals, your intentions. This is the time to ask yourself questions and to set those intentions. Now, please watch for your rising sign first, as I will be covering the houses that this new moon falls in for each individual sign. And then watch for your sun and moon sign. Remember, these are general readings, so the messages won't resonate with everyone, but I'm sure there'll still be some guidance that you'll be able to tap into with these readings. So please, everyone, just apply the messages as they fit and as you see fit into your life. Let's get started. Hello Aquarius, welcome to your new moon reading for October. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit would like to give you. Now Aquarius, this new moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign with the traits of passion and intensity. It's ruled by Pluto, and it's about transformation, obsession and power. So let's have a look. So it's quite an intense new moon for most of us. Let's have a look. And then I want to take this one. Isn't that funny? If you have Capricorn in your sign, they just got these two cards, but around the other way. Isn't that interesting? So if you have Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, have a look at their reading, because it might resonate. And I feel with this self-reflection card, I think it might give you a more in-depth reading. So please remember to watch for your Sun, Moon and Rising, just for that more in-depth view of the new moon. Okay, so sorry, I didn't even mention, if you're a rising sign Aquarius, this plays out in your 10th house. The 10th house is ruled by Saturn, and it influences career, nice, your status in the world, your reputation and your ambitions. It's really interesting, Aquarius, because we're kind of all been getting a little bit the message of kind of need to look at what do we want now in order to be able to move forward in a good direction, like the direction that is right for us. And I love this card. It says self-reflection, and I feel that this is looking into you. Now this is the, they're on the land here, but they're down in the water here, and I feel this is looking at your emotions, looking at your subconscious self. And how does that match up with your conscious self? Do your mind and your soul align? In what ways do you contradict yourself? There's a sense of needing to rebalance. And when I mean rebalance, I mean rebalance Do our beliefs match our actions in the world? Do our thoughts match our beliefs? And it's bringing everything into one. And it's when we don't have this balance. It's when we find ourselves in this Two of Swords, where there are choices and there's decisions we need to make, but we just can't. We can't make them because we don't know. We just get this overwhelming sense of, I'm not sure. I just don't know which one to pick. And when we are so unsure of ourselves, we know that there are aspects of ourselves that are contradicting each other or in conflict. And with this reflection card and the Five of Wands, I'm not sensing conflict with others. But having said that, Aquarius, our inner world often reflects our outer world. So if we are really conflicted inside, we'll often arguing and fighting, not fighting, well, hopefully not fighting with fists, but we'll be arguing and fighting with others around us because we have such inner turmoil that then spills out into our outer world. But this is inside battles in your reading today, Aquarius. This is inner conflict. And it's time to self-reflect. It's time to go within. Look at what you want. Are you even heading in the direction that you say you want to? Sometimes we have a dream and goal, and the dream and goal is doing this, this, or this, and we're over here doing something completely different. They don't align. And I feel that's what this energy is about. It's time to release negativity and don't let your past hold you back. And I feel this is internal. This is your internal dialogue. And this is your old self, old ideas, preconditioned ideas and notions. And it's almost you not wanting to change in some level, or you have changed, but the rest of you hasn't caught up. You haven't merged everything together. Your ideas might be changing, but your actions are still the same, or your actions have changed, but then your mind goes into turmoil because it hasn't caught up yet. It hasn't merged. And this is not unusual. We all do this, and we don't even realize how often we do this. Like daily we do things that our actions don't mimic our dreams or goals. A classic example is when we want to lose weight, and yet we'll sit there and eat half a tub of ice cream. There's conflict. We don't often see it like that, but that's what it is. We might say we want to get fitter, and we never go for walks, or we never do exercise. The two are mutually opposite. You need one in order to have the other. And that can be in our jobs, that can be in our relationships. We might say, oh, I need more peace in my life. And you might be in the most passionate volatile relationship there is. And at one point it might have suited you, but now what you're asking for, it doesn't. That's what this self-reflection is. That's what looking at what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking, do they align? Because there's a sense here that there's the old part of you that is holding you back. There's habits, old mindsets that you're having difficulty letting go. And that brings negativity when we're not in alignment with ourselves. There's negativity because, you know, when the day passes and you haven't exercised and you've been telling yourself, I need to get fitter, it gives us that excuse almost to be angry with ourselves, to then get disappointed in ourselves. We resent ourselves. There's no love or kindness or what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you acknowledge that you've done something well, there's praise. There's no thank you. There's no praise in that. You know, we don't praise ourselves. We don't love ourselves. That's why being aligned in what we say and what we do is so important. And then you have the Five of Wands and the Two of Swords. And the Five of Wands is often just conflict, minor, nobody gets too hurt, but if allowed to continue, there can be just unhappiness and, you know, this is the way that if you keep going this way, you might lose friends. You might get colleagues on the wrong foot, you know, that kind of energy, but it's never too bad. It's more I often sometimes look at this card and I think it's practicing. They practice fighting before they fight with their swords, and it becomes more damaging. So it is kind of learning a little bit. I do see it as a card of conflict though. And it's with this card, it's often the cards that are around it because it's in what mindset is this done in? You know, if this is a group of kids and they're play fighting and they might get, you know, they might hurt themselves a little bit, but nothing too bad, and nobody really wants to hurt the other. They're just overexcited and they're just, I guess you could say they're mucking around and just being a little silly, but having fun. It's a different mindset than when you pick up a stick and really try to hurt somebody. And with the Two of Swords beside it, I feel like this is you having digs at yourself. This is you attacking yourself. And this is the way you talk to yourself, your inner dialogue, what you think of yourself. It's not a restful energy. It's excited, a little bit silly. You know, almost sometimes, you know, kids play and then they get overexcited and they get too silly and then they really hurt each other. I don't know if you've seen kids play sometimes, and it just can escalate so quickly. And what started off as just harmless fun has really ended up, you know, somebody can you know, ends up in tears, don't they? And I feel, Aquarius, and I apologize for laughing, but it's just a bit of lightness because it is a little bit funny, and it's not just you. Like, this is not pointing the finger at you. We all do this, where we might start by saying, oh, you should have gone for the walk. You know, it would have done you well. You should have really gone for the walk. And then suddenly in 15 minutes, we're like, you're just useless. You never do what you say. You're so useless. And before we know it, we're fully, what started off as just a, oh, you know, you should have made the effort, ends up being, oh, I hate you. You just never do anything. You're just a blob. You're just, you know, whatever. I'm just making things up here. I'm not saying that that's what you're saying to yourself, Aquarius, but what starts off as just being a little bit of a, oh, come on, ends up being, you know, real negative talk that we give ourselves. And we don't realize often, because half the time it goes on in the background, we're just not even aware that we're doing it. But it really inhibits our ability to make choices. Because it takes away our self-trust. It takes away our self-belief. And when we don't believe in ourselves, how do we have confidence? If we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe that we're going to make a good choice, do we? So then subconsciously we really impact our ability to move forward and to make decisions. And that's what this Two of Swords is here, is there are choices to be made. And I just feel that you've hit a bit of a wall. You're just like, I just don't know. And the Ten of Cups here, I think, is beautiful in this reading. It looks like it doesn't fit in, but it fits in beautifully, because it tells me, Aquarius, that your life might not be the Ten of Cups. I'm not going to you know, I don't know your life, so I'm not going to say that, because that could be very, very hurtful if you're really struggling at the moment. But the Ten of Cups is here to say that your life is not as bad as you are seeing it. It's because you're out of alignment that everything seems so difficult. If you're not at the Ten of Cups, which I think very few of you will be, that's where you're headed. This is the last card. This is where you're headed. You're somewhere along this journey. And I feel, Aquarius, if I may, most of you, if not all of you, are closer to the end of your journey than the beginning. And that's why there's this that's why you're not aligned with yourself, because there's been so many changes, there's been so many lessons, that you're a bit of this, a bit of that, and you haven't brought the two together. When you self-reflect, when you go in and you reflect on who you are now, what you want now, what parts of you need to grow, what parts of you need to change, what parts of you need to come to the forefront, what parts of you need to let go of, you align. This inner turmoil, you'll still get it, but you'll see it for what it is. And then you'll just release it. And it won't block you from making decisions. It won't make everything seem so hard, because this is trying to make decisions when you have no idea. The worry and the fear and the anxiety that comes from that is actually tainting what your life is actually like, what your life is about. But know that it comes from inside of you, Aquarius, and the rebalancing needs to come from inside of you. It's a very profound message for you, Aquarius. I'm going to leave it there. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful new moon, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.